Family, friends, and loved ones out there. Welcome to Fam Talk. I'm your host, Self, and we have a great show ahead of you. So just sit back, grab your teas, your coffees, your waters, your smoothie, your juices, whatever you're going to sip to, because this is going to be a great one. Because the energy is very high, and I just want to share with you what I feel. And yes, the energy is very aggressive, so I might be, you know, sounding a little bit more aggressively with my deliveries because that's just what is flowing through me right now. But nevertheless, that I am balancing out all that aggressiveness with my meditation, with my breathing, and yes, emotions are still running high, but I will not pour oil on the fire, right? Because I know that my emotions are very sensitive right now. And just like everyone else out there that's experiencing this moon squares Jupiter in the early parts of April, with Mars leading into Aries, I just want to stay really calm, cool, and collective as possible. I do not want to cave in. I do not want to crash out and go any direction that my higher and true self is not leading me, right? So let's get right into it. Uh, we have a lot of energy coming from Venus, right? Let's talk a little bit about Venus right now in Taurus because being in his home sign, Venus energy is going to have a strong resonance in our aura field to feel our emotions out, right? Not only to feel our emotions, but with a lot of Aries energy and taking action, we will be more quickly to respond and react to our emotions more unconsciously than at other times, right? So that is something that we have to stay very aware of and understand that we don't want things to just flame up off of a trigger emotion. We want to definitely reflect and see where that emotion is coming from and seeing is it something that you are sending a signal to yourself for a warning, or is it someone else trying to inject that energy onto you, which you would then know that you need to create more spacing, right? So there's a chance that you can get some things wrong right now because with Venus going into its home sign, dealing with the earth, you are a more loving being. But at this time of aggressiveness, you can easily um, abuse a situation, a relationship, or environment if you're not aware of your intentions because your actions will just show one thing, but you might not have the same intentions for what your actions have produced. And so it kind of falls back into you having to look back and seeing what you have done and being in a way of correcting it or accepting it in a way, right? So it's just knowing that with the energy that's here around the beginning week, first week of April, you just know that love is going one way unless it's going another way. And depending on which way you go, it's going to you're going to have to revisit it in a week or two later because the direction you went didn't match the vibration or so yeah. For the marriage couples out there, this is a time to renew your vows, start more healthy habits with each other, just change things up this month in April. It starts out with Venus and Mercury's having a conjunction, so change will occur. Just in what area and on what level it's going to be up to you. The key things to really look at right now is to see what you can adore about your partner, because that will create more freedom and more clarity of the mind if you can focus on some of the strengths that your partner presents to you, right? With Mercury and Neptune conjunction, this is going to activate the imagination. So, if you were to find that sweet spot about your partner and then let Mercury and Neptune's take that imagination, you can create and change something for the good, for the better of the relationship. But if you fail to take the time and the space to create what your partner and how you appreciate your partner, then you can kind of go on the opposite end and get the worst of what you see your partner as. And this gets really strong around the mid part of April. So by the end of the month, if you're struggling with any energy that it feels like dead weight, you'll see the signs that you're in the red zone. Ayo, ayo, ayo,
ayo, ayo, ayo. Want love in this music? Get money and choose a profession. Ain't nobody got life figured out, but niggas tell lies and niggas be messy. I've been chasing the art of perfection. That shit got me feeling so less than. I was scrolling on threads, trying to take chances. Somehow I made a connection. Introducing the bread and the butter. Run up the stream like bears in the summer do. Out here trying to encourage the younger gen. Bitch, I let it come straight from the frontal lobe. I remember doing poetry. Poetry do something for an old soul. Gotta give it to Zabe. Cause Zabe took me to my very first show. Put so much in my art that you gotta notice. All this money come in hard not to blow it. I don't worry my brain or the paper rolling. Try to stay stoic, but my heart be showing. It's a killer game, got the blade poking. I was scrolling on threads. It was me and a voice in my head. Tryna find me a know it should be and get us a check.
So we're back and we're talking about forgiveness requires no audience. And this is a time where you can sit in your silence and just forgive yourselves for all the things that you fall short of, or all the things that you see yourself less than, or all the things that you see yourself struggling with. This is a time where you can sit in silence and forgive yourself and have no audience that requires for you to get that off, right? To get that off of you, because the more you carry these thoughts and feelings inside about yourself, it's the more that you're going to create environments and situations for you to go through these things, right? The world will always offer you addictions. That's what the world does. It has a variety of addictions for you to do, right? One of them might be money, another one might be drugs, food, sex, gambling, personal possessions. We have so many things that we get addicted to, right? And we continually choose to be addicted to these things because of the craving and the lust of the fast and short pleasures that we get, right? But we're really abandoning and denying our true selves to really be expressed and felt. So that's one thing we need to do. We need to stop abandoning ourselves and stop selling our time, right? These jobs and careers we have, yes, they do provide for our family, but there's got to be a way where that we're not selling our time for these careers and jobs and sacrifice of losing the connection and in the upbringings of our children, right? And the connections with our partners and friends and family members, right? We have to choose a, a better way to balance out all these new ways of technology and all these ways that we spend time on expressing and sharing information on these social media platforms, right? We really have to find that grateful time. I like to call it just realigning thyself in the present moment, that taking time to just be grateful, right? Because once you take time to be grateful, then you could begin to start investing in the planet. And I say you could start having time to invest in the planet and all the living cycles, and how you could spend more time in environments and in situations that allow you to receive more for the time that you spend in those environments. For example, spending time with the elders in their home space or in their personal space is a very great investment. You'll be grateful for that investment down the line, even if that elder doesn't say much or share much with you. Just the presence that the elder has and in that environment that it sets for you to receive is more than you can even imagine. So these type of investments are very key into your well-being, and it goes a part of the forgiveness to yourself and to others around you. You have to remember forgiveness is the purest act of faith. And if you're going to be walking and relying and living through an energy source that relies and have connection with faith, you definitely want to have a clear slate of faith. And that's what forgiveness helps you do. Just think about who you are when you are on a low emotional day. Because that person who you are on that low emotional day is not you. It's a reflection of a shadow of what you might be going through, a situation or a place or environment that you might be revisiting. But it's not the present self. So, how can you bring yourself in the present moment when you're having one of those low emotional days? Well, it's going to be through your thoughts. Your thoughts are vibration that lends to your emotions. So, on one of those low emotional days, you're going to have to pick up your emotions, and your thoughts will be the one that will allow you to do so. But you have to understand that those emotions that you're feeling is not who you are in the present moment, and be able to bring yourself up to the level of speed and the level of vibration that the present moment is giving you the chance to be. Well, how do you do that? Well, you build that with trust and trust in yourself, and using inspiring thoughts to do that will lead to a stronger emotion, and that's going to be a stronger vibration, and that's going to start to rise up and bring a higher frequency towards you, right? So when you sit with yourself and you build yourself up with powerful words that you can feel, this is the little steps that we take to stay in the present moment and to build that vibration up. And as we build this vibration up in the present moment, we then start to lean to the new ideas that become present to us. Because these new ideas that become present as we build this energy up is a part of going with the flow, right? We're getting the momentum and we're getting right involved in taking action or taking presence. And then the steps that we do start taking, we now start to find that new rhythm, right? That new rhythm begins and then we continue it. And it's a must that we continue it with extreme discipline with our behaviors and thoughts so we can keep this vibration, to keep this frequency attracting and keeping us alert for the signs to stay on this path of purpose. Because this path of purpose is all in line with our thoughts and behavior. If we start to lack what we should be having when we're on this path of purpose, then we'll go back on the road of the unwanted life. And that easily happens throughout the day and throughout the time. So we have to understand that extreme discipline with our behaviors and thoughts will allow us to stay out of the comfort. We will go through some aches and pains, but that is letting us know that we're working ourselves towards our higher and true selves. So yes, you have to watch who you let in your surroundings. And there's many reasons. We're just to talk about a few, okay? And the one thing I want to get in our heads is that we have to treat our personal space and our personal environments like our savings and checking account. Do you allow people to go in your checking account or in your savings account and just freely do what they want? I don't think you do. So that's the same approach that you got to have with your personal space and with your environment. You have to know that you spent a lot of time and a lot of effort in creating this sacred space for yourself to store your energy. Now, how are you going to keep that energy stored or be able to protect that energy when you're allowing people in and out of your spaces without showing that they are even worth the value that you have in that space? And I say worth and value in the same sentence because each person, place, or thing can present a certain worth and value at a particular time. So when they come into your space with high energy, high vibration, high value, yes, allow them in. But when they are coming with negative energy, low vibration, distractions, hate, envy, jealousy, keep them out. And there's many reasons why you don't want to invite in that type of energy, but the main thing is that you want to build the space and boundary that you can control, right? Because this is your energy. This is your energy that you're cultivating that you can turn and transform into power, right? Because we need power to make these actions work at the speed and rate that we want them. But we don't have a lot of power, then how can we get the things that we desire and want in life if we keep giving little pieces of our power away through letting people in our space and not knowingly see that they are leaking our energy out for free and not giving us anything back, and most times are attacking us and setting us up for manipulations and other things for down the line for their resources, right? So I like to really take a time to spend and invest in my home with my family because when I invest in my family, I know whoever I invested in, it's going to be a ripple effect with their immediate family or their next kin that makes contact. I know they're going to benefit from that. And that's going to be an amazing thing. And that's the attention that I set when I do spend time with family or when I do invest in family. And then there's the other part of the investment that I do with myself. And I will say it's not only self care, but when I go to the gym to exercise, that's to balance the energy level of when my energy is too aggressive or my energy is too low. I'm able to balance it out with the physical body that allows my emotions to come out, be recognized, and also be used. So by the time I'm done exercising, those emotions have now kind of dissolved because of the energy I used to dissolve them with, right? And that's in a constructive way. I didn't entertain those emotions and lose energy from those emotions. I actually gained more energy by using those emotions at the right time. So that also goes to waking up and taking that unwanted or that unconscious energy that you have and putting it right back into the earth. And I say right back to the earth, touching plants, touching the soil, watering your plants, um, feeding your fish, feeding the pets and animals in your environment. Doing that is investing back into the home, back into your environment. Those things are connecting you to the living cycle, and that is a golden investment. That is something that is it's the big deposit when you start making the golden investments. So these things you don't want to overlook. These things are very important when you are building your space up and when you are making your boundaries because when you are speaking and listening with others, you want to make sure that that space is allowing you to be in a very neutral, non emotional space so you can take in everything and observe at a level of your higher self because then you can look and see where you need to set boundaries to allow your full powers to be accepted. And as you allow your full powers to be accepted, now you can protect those in your space and those out of your space. It's very important because you don't want to have the gates open and saying step right in. No, you want to keep the door shut and stay in sovereignty because you don't want your happiness to be manipulated into someone else's distractions, right? Because you will swap out your happiness for other people's distractions because you invited that manipulation by just listening, by just speaking to others. It's very important that you understand that you need to attend to the spiritual body over the physical body when you're setting up these boundaries and setting up this surrounding for the spiritual self to do its work. This is a very important time that we spiritually take on the sovereignty and take a huge step in moving forward. Ashe.